Well, my name is Katie Theodorus, and I'm an artist working in Melbourne, Australia. I'm very grateful to have been invited to participate in Noir Darkroom's show Miss Rona on the theme of the pandemic that's currently happening. Um, my practice has changed considerably since the pandemic began, I've noticed. It used to consist of very bright, colourful paintings, quirky characters, patterns, a kind of a riot of colour, um, and patterns, and a lot of irony and wordplay. But since the pandemic began, I've noticed it's really shrunk down to a much more circumspective and contemplative art. There's a lot more white space. I've been working on paper, which is a new thing for me, and it's allowed me to really kind of become a lot more minimalist. And yeah, less color, more black and white, which you'll see in the two pieces that I've submitted to the show. The first one is called Plastic. I first thought of it when I was listening to a Ladytron song called Black Plastic. And the line was touching black plastic. And even though the song was written nearly 20 years ago, it really, it felt so relevant to me at this time, where everything's covered in plastic now. And I immediately thought of two lovers wearing hazmat suits, and they want to touch, but they can't. So in the picture, they're embracing and they're touching each other, but they're not at the same time because the plastic is in between them. And I really felt like we're all kind of in this situation at the moment. We're separate, physically separate, but we're somehow emotionally connected by this experience that we're all going through. So there's really a kind of tension between being together and being apart at the same time. And I decided to keep it in black and white with a really kind of stark minimalist feel to highlight the impersonal and clinical nature of plastic. And then I wrote the words as a nod to the Ladytron song, "My plastic touching your plastic." I did change it slightly to give it a feeling that my plastic and your plastic, the personal protective equipment that we often have to wear now, have somehow intrinsically become a part of us. And it's keeping us apart. And then the second piece is called Touch. And this is comes from more contemplation about that phenomenon that we're going through at the moment. So it's more about physical intimacy and consensual touch and how our perception of it may be changing. So the piece depicts two paper dolls, and they could be you, your friends, your family, a loved one, and they're hugging. They have their arms intertwined around each other, but they can be separated. And the string represents a force beyond their control that could pull them apart at any time. And the viewer is invited to even pull them apart and take them back together if they wish. So it really represents a loss of control over something that we've always taken for granted. Our right or ability to reach out and hug the people that we love and come close to them. And yeah, so it represents how this force is pulling people apart.
So beautiful.
Well, I mean, in my own life, from looking in from the outside, my life didn't actually change that much. I was unemployed and looking for a job, so I was at home all day, and all the jobs disappeared. So that kind of had to give up on that endeavor. So I just kind of kept plodding along the way I had been before, cooking meals, that kind of thing. But yeah, but art-wise, my motivation just completely disappeared. It felt like there was no point in doing anything. And I really spent a lot of time on Instagram, just like checking up on people I knew, and even people I didn't know personally, but had been following for a while, because I really felt this sense of wanting to reach out to other people. And normally I'm an extreme introvert with social anxiety, so I don't see people face to face very often anyway. So that didn't change, but inside I felt a change that I wanted to connect more with people. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I haven't seen my family since February, because they live outside of Melbourne. And at first I thought, oh, I'll get to see them again in a month, and then it was 2 months. And then it's been 9 months now. And it's really heartbreaking. My niece and nephew, they're like 9 and 10. And I wonder if they understand, really. I think I've gotten used to it more. And I'm hesitant to be honest, I'm not looking forward to things going back to normal. I like being at home because it's safe. Whenever I have to go to the supermarket, for example, I worry that something's gonna happen. And to be honest, even when we are allowed to go wherever we want again, I don't think I will as much as I used to. And it's going to take time for me to feel safe going out and being amongst people again, I think, to kind of build a resilience. But and you asked about my art as well. I've actually gone back to a project that I first thought of about 18 months ago, and I'm finding that to be a really kind of healing process, is to maybe not normalize, that's not the right word, but to bring forward into the future a project that I was really passionate about before. I'm finding that a really great way to kind of navigate a way into the future.